Good afternoon, everyone. My report is all about reproductive system, the male and the female. Male reproductive system. Humans are sexual, meaning that both a male and a female are needed to reproduce. Each is equipped with specific organs capable of producing specific cells needed in conjunction with a woman's reproductive organs. Sexual intercourse can lead to the reproduction of human life to procreate. Ah, kailangan nating makipag-sex or hindi man siya required kasi estudyante pa lang tayo. Like sa mga couples or sa mga nanay at tatay natin, need nila makipag-sex para makaproduce sila ng baby or something na gusto nilang magkaroon ng pamilya, like that. For men, the external reproductive organs include penis. This tubular muscular organ fills with blood during arousal, thus making sexual intercourse possible. Penis is yung ari ng lalaki. Yung ari ng lalaki na nilalabasan ng ihi. Ito yung ari ng lalaki na nilalabasan ng ihi. Scrotum. This pouch, like sac, hangs below the penis and encases the testes or testicles. Scrotum, ito yung nag-hold sa testes. Kumbaga, ito yung balat na nakapaikot sa testes para hindi siya malaglag. Char. Ganon. Yun siya. Testicles. These two oval-shaped organs produce sperm cells and testosterone. Ito yung testicles. Ito yung dalawang bilog or ito yung tinatawag nating itlog sa mga lalaki. Ito yung oval-shaped organs produce sperms. Nag-produce ng sperms para maka-create ng baby. Another one. Internal reproductive organs. Epididymis. A series of small tubes attached to the back of each testicle. The epididymis collects and stores sperm. Ito yung nag-collect and nag-stores ng sperm sa mga lalaki, male. Vas deferens. The epididymis eventually becomes the vas deferens, a larger tube that transports sperm to the urethra, the urinary passage from the bladder. Accessory sex glands, including the prostate gland, seminal vesicles, and the bulbourethral glands. These glands contribute nourishing fluid to the sperm. Male reproductive hormones. Hormones are chemical messengers made by the glands in the body. Androgens are the hormones that make men male. Androgens are responsible for sexual functioning, fertility, and secondary sexual characteristics such as muscle mass, height, deep voice, and body hair, including the beard. The most important androgen is testosterone, which is manufactured in the testicles. The sperm. Sperm is the male reproductive cell. Its role is to fertilize an egg. It contains the man's genetic material. A sperm is tadpole-shaped and around 60 microns in length. 1 micron is a million of a meter. It has a lashing tail, which helps it is to swim towards a waiting egg. Sperm production continues throughout a man's life, from puberty into old age, but the quality of a man's sperm declines from about age 45. Sperm, ito yung isang dahilan kung bakit nabubuo yung isang baby. Ito yung sila yung malagkit na bagay na lumalabas sa lalaki para makaproduce ng baby. Malagkit siya, malagkit. Yun. Male reproductive system problems. Some of the Reproductive health conditions men may experience include impotence, a problem with getting or keeping an erection. Ito siguro yung nahihirapan tayong mag-ihi dahilan siguro sa pagkain ng junk foods. Like that, pagkain ng junk foods, pag-inom ng mga soft drinks, or something na mahilig tayo sa maaalat. Siguro yun. Infertility. The inability to achieve an pregnancy due to low sperm production, blockages or other factors. Infertility, ito yung sa Ilonggo pa, baog. Minsan, siguro, lalaki ang hindi makaproduce ng or ang dahilan kung bakit hindi nabubuntis yung babae kasi maliit yung sperm na napoproduce nila or something na hindi talaga sila active or hindi active yung sperm nila para makaproduce ng baby. Meron din minsan babae yung may problema. Babae yung dahilan kung bakit hindi makabuo or hindi siya nabubuntis. Prostate disease. Benign prostate enlargement and prostate cancer. Sexually transmissible infections. Bacterial or viral infection acquired through sexual contact. Yun lang. Yun yung lahat na report ko about male reproductive system. May video ako na papakita about sa male reproductive system.
In this video, anatomy of the male reproductive system. Let's begin by simply identifying structures that are important in the male reproductive system. These include the vas deferens, also called the ductus deferens, the penis, the testes, note that only one testicle is shown in this diagram, the scrotum, the bulbourethral gland, the prostate gland, and finally, the seminal vesicle. You have to have a basic understanding of location in order to understand function and how all these structures work together. We will begin with the testes, the male gonad. This is a diagram of the longitudinal section through one testicle, so you can now see what's inside. Notice that the majority of the testicle is composed of seminiferous tubules. These tubules produce sperm via spermatogenesis. But how? Let's take a closer look. In order to do this, we need to zoom in on the seminiferous tubule and take a cross-section through the tubule. Imagine taking a garden hose and cutting it in half. This would be similar to cutting the tubule in half and looking at what's inside. The lumen of the seminiferous tubule is lined by cells called Sertoli cells. These Sertoli cells are connected via tight junctions. Lining the outside of the Sertoli cells is a layer of smooth muscle. Outside of the Sertoli cells are the Leydig cells. These are all the cells that are really important. In addition to these structures, you will need to be familiar with the following compartments: the basal compartment and the luminal compartment. These compartments are basically talking about regions of the cross-section. If we are talking about the basal compartment, we are talking about the area that goes from the tight junction toward that smooth muscle. And if we are talking about the luminal compartment, we are talking about the area that goes from the tight junction toward the lumen. Now that you are familiar with the structures, let's focus on their functions. We begin with the Leydig cells, also called interstitial cells. The Leydig cells secrete testosterone. The Sertoli cells support sperm development, or what is referred to as spermatogenesis. The smooth muscle surrounding these Sertoli cells allows for peristalsis. This process is important as it will propel sperm through the seminiferous tubules. Well, that's all fine and dandy that the Sertoli cells produce the sperm, but how do the sperm get out of the seminiferous tubules and out of the testes? This is our next goal. So here are the sperm in the seminiferous tubules. The sperm has been produced by the Sertoli cells and released into the lumen of the seminiferous tubule. Those sperm then travel through this little region here called the rete, testes, and into the efferent ductules. This is the point at which the sperm exit the testes. From the efferent ductules, the sperm enter the epididymis and will ultimately make their way to the vas deferens. So that is the pathway the sperm are taking to get out of the testes. What propelled the sperm through all those structures? Peristalsis. Now the sperm are in the vas deferens, right? The vas deferens connects with the seminal vesicles to form the ejaculatory duct. At this point, the sperm is mixed with fluid that came from the seminal vesicles. The ejaculatory duct penetrates through the prostate gland to join the urethra. As such, the sperm wind up in the urethra, which receives substances from the bulbourethral glands. Thus, both urine and sperm are in the urethra. So that was just the pathway that sperm take from the seminiferous tubules to the urethra. Now, let's look more closely at the accessory glands I mentioned earlier. The seminal vesicles secrete an alkaline fluid that contains fructose, enzymes, and prostaglandins. Remember, alkaline fluids are basic. The purpose of this alkaline fluid is to neutralize the acid that is in the female reproductive tract. The fructose is used for energy. Remember, sperm have to swim, so they need energy for motility. The enzymes in the fluid facilitate semen clotting. There are also prostaglandins in this fluid. These are for motility and viability of the sperm. The prostate gland is another accessory gland. The prostate gland secretes citrate, which is an energy source for sperm motility and enzymes that will break down the semen clot once it is in the female reproductive tract. Okay, so take a second to make sure you understand. The semen clots during ejaculation and is then broken down once it's inside the female reproductive tract. The last accessory gland is the bulbourethral glands. These glands secrete a fluid that contain mucus. Why is mucus important? It serves as a lubricant.